Hello, everyone. My name is Nat. I'm the managing editor of Tech in Asia Studios, and welcome to today's virtual event. This event is part of a pre event series leading up to Tech in Asia's flagship product development conference happening this June 8 and 9, featuring over 5,000 product professionals who will be sharing their insights on anything and everything product related. To further support our mission to serve Asia's tech community, this year's flagship product development conference is free for everyone. Tickets are limited, so get yours as soon as possible right now at pdc.techinasia.com before they run out. Now, on to today's agenda. It is my great pleasure to introduce all of you to Auth0. The Auth0 identity platform, a product unit within Okta, takes a modern approach to identity and enables organizations to provide secure access to any application for any user. For more information, you can visit the Auth0 website at auth0.com. That's AUTH, then the number 0.com. Now, our topic for this morning is deliver secure, seamless experiences with Auth0 Customer Identity and Access Management. And we have Randy Nasson, Director of Product Management for Auth0, here to tell us all more about it. So without further ado, let's start the presentation. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Randy Nasson.
Hi, everyone. I'm Randy Nason, Director of Product Management at Auth0. Today, I'll be sharing the 12-month Auth0 product roadmap. Normally, this presentation takes about an hour, but as I've been asked to deliver it in 30 minutes, I'm offering a very condensed version of it. If you'd like to learn more, we'd love to hear from you and help you secure access to your SIAM applications. A few notes from the start. As you're likely aware, Auth0 was acquired by Okta last year. This roadmap represents the Auth0 product only. I'm not presenting anything related to the Okta product roadmap. Although we are one big company, our products have independent roadmaps with particular focus. And this roadmap does contain forward-looking statements. So I'm obligated to share this safe harbor slide with you, which basically says the information in here is subject to change and that this presentation should not be used in terms of interpreted as a promise or a guarantee of any specific content or specific guidelines. And finally, this roadmap theme is organized into 5 themes. So Auth0's 2 core SIAM use cases and 3 technology areas that underpin these use cases. So I'll start on the top left here with consumer identity. Our focus is to deliver features that drive customer conversions through low-friction secure authentication. Think of this as a classic B2C use case. Customers like IKEA and News Corp, Autotrader, 1-800-Flowers, and Mercado Libre, they all trust Auth0 to deliver a world-class SIAM solution. Even Salesforce, who has their own identity offering, offers Auth0 as a premium upsell to their largest customers. Now, for SaaS identity, our focus is to deliver capabilities that drive efficient SaaS product growth by modeling identity for business customers and their end users. So think of this as the B2B and the B2B2C use cases. Large SaaS enterprises like Atlassian and Sage trust Auth0 to help us grow their B2B business. The gray square, I will not be speaking about external collaboration today. That involves a very specific set of managed identity use cases that is more commonly facilitated by the Okta product. Now, the 3 underpinning technology themes here are secure identity, which really guides our focus on helping customers build consumer trust and reduce risk by minimizing the impact and likelihood of fraud and abuse. Extensibility and ecosystem. This allows Auth0 customers to customize and extend their offering through a combination of pro-code, low-code, and no-code out-of-the-box integrations. And finally, we continue to invest in our world-class developer experience and operational excellence by simplifying implementation, management, and operation for all of our customers at any scale. Now, with that, let's get straight into the roadmap. So I want to talk about customer identity first. And when we think about applications that are built for and used by consumers, we understand that increasing conversions and reducing friction are top of mind. Removing friction can have a hugely positive impact on revenue, whether it's friction at the sign-up process or removing login difficulties. The less often customers need to correspond with a call support center, the better the experience will be, improving both loyalty and revenue. But there is a critical balance between usability and security that varies from company to company. Banks and governments, for example, have a very low tolerance for potential fraud and may employ higher security measures than, say, an online media site that promotes speed and frequency of engagement. Now, identity is the foundation of the digital experience. It is the gateway for optimizing the conversion funnel. It empowers the scaling to millions of users and can facilitate a comprehensive customer understanding with consistent experience across multiple channels. Let's get into some of the actually features and capabilities we'll be rolling out soon. So many B2C companies leverage customer data platforms, or CDPs, such as Telium or mParticle, to aggregate customer data from multiple sources and build a 360 customer view. As the enabler of user registration and authentication, it makes perfect sense for Auth0 to add CDP integrations to enable companies to have more comprehensive customer data profiles and insights that can help drive better conversion rates. So we're actively working with Telium and mParticle as our first integration partners and plan to have those integrations to push profile data to those CDPs later this year. Now, another important and often overlooked consumer identity aspect is accessibility. Over 250 million people worldwide are either blind or have moderate to severe visual impairment. Auth0 is committing to adhering to the WCAG 2.1 AA guidelines, which is the gold standard for online accessibility, because every person on the planet should be able to securely access apps and services regardless of their physical abilities. We believe that your business needs it, your customers deserve it, and fundamentally, it is the right thing to do. We've already conducted WCAG audits and actively work with our customers to address issues that they find and stay abreast of the latest guidelines. So I want to move on to factor management, okay? Because one of the big aspects of SIAM is trying to keep costs low. So one way to do that is through better flows and actually have better self-service options for end users. So our forthcoming factor management API will enable customers to build self-service factor management for end users. That is, it allows people like me to register new factors. So let's say I get a new phone, or I get a new email address, or I have a new phone number, et cetera, that I want to use for SMS messages, or I want to use for email verification, right? If I want to change those things within a company, that requires a support call. That requires filling out opening web tickets and things like that. We want to make this completely self-service so that you can just build these capabilities right into your applications and empower users to do this on their own. Now, in the same vein, password resets continue to be a thorn in the side for customer service agents, and it's shockingly expensive. If you listen to Gartner, between 20 to 50% of all help desk calls are for password resets. Forrester says that the average help desk labor cost for a single password reset is about $70 US. That's why passwordless is such a buzzy term these days. Now, Auth0 supported passwordless login for a long time, as long as I can remember, before I even joined the company, in fact. And that is the ability to log in with an email magic link or via an OTP through SMS, right? We were doing this way before it was trendy. However, some of our passwordless capabilities required the use of our classic login interface, which has been around for a long time. But we've recently been investing in our new universal login interface. And what we're doing is we're making sure that all these passwordless capabilities are available in the new universal login interface, which does include all of our latest, most advanced features, including like WebAuthn and new forms of attack protection. So I also want to talk about like flexible user journeys, because since the expectations and preferences of every end user are different, we'll be introducing flexible user journeys to account for any consumer application use case. So at one point, we could reliably assume that almost everybody had like an email address. It could be the basis for their online identity. Well, that's since changed. And in many markets, phone numbers are clearly the dominant identifier. And with the proliferation of mobile devices, device identifiers are also on the rise. Last year, the GSMA reported that there were like more than 5 billion mobile subscribers worldwide. In India, most of the 1.2 billion records in the citizen identity database, they're linked to mobile numbers, not email addresses. So to empower our customers to be successful in all markets, we want to be adding support for using phone numbers to register and identify users who don't have other digital addresses. We also want to add support for WebAuthn as the first factor to be able to register with your device factor. And we're also preparing for the forthcoming passkey initiatives that will certainly result in a massive uptick in WebAuthn adoption. The future is indeed passwordless, but it will continue to take many forms for years to come. And Auth0 will help make this transition easy. Now, your ability to improve the customer experience is only as good as the insight you have into your user experience itself. That's why we're really excited to be introducing funnel analytics, which will empower product, marketing, and revenue generating teams to understand their conversions and funnel performance, conduct A/B tests, and reduce the friction points that are impacting the customer experience. We want to provide our customers with the ability to quickly and easily see which login sequences offer the best conversion and identify points of friction so that the user experience can be optimized to improve conversions and customer satisfaction. Now, here's a quick summary of all the customer identity capabilities I just described. There are a few items in here that were not explicitly called out, but as I said at the beginning, I've got limited time, so I can only go through so much. As we go through each section, each one will also have its own 12-month view. So you can always just kind of pause the video or take a screenshot if you actually want to look at it. And then you can always contact us later if you have questions about any one of these particular items. So I want to talk briefly about financial grade identity. Around the world, governments and private companies are investing heavily in regulations and requirements and capabilities to ensure highly secure digital financial transactions. You may be aware of some of these initiatives like CDR and open banking, PSD2, FDX. You may have heard some of the standards like FOPI and CIBA. It is just a wilderness of acronyms. Now, in the coming 12 months, we aim to support SCA, that is Strong Customer Authentication, to facilitate digital transactions a customer performs with a third party. For example, if I want to allow an investment app to access my account, or if I want to conduct a sensitive digital transaction and I want to make sure I get an additional authorization confirmation that comes through that says yes, for example, if I conduct it on the web and I want to get a notice on my phone through a push notification, I want to be able to do these things securely and safely using a combination of secure factors with transparent transaction information for the end user. So this is going to be our goal over the next 12 months. Now, we're also investing in core capabilities like SCA, as mentioned, and PPID, while simultaneously working with regional partners to meet more specialized, like localized regulations. For example, we already work in conjunction with a partner to enable CDR compliance solutions in Australia. So if you do have very specific regional regulatory requirements to meet, we can certainly work with you and work with other companies and work with our partners to make sure that we can help address all of those business needs. Again, here's the 12-month summary of our plans into financial grade identity. And this is going to be a multi-year plan that will evolve as the global markets continue to evolve. And this roadmap will grow and adapt accordingly. It's also important to note why we chose the term financial grade identity. First, there are existing regional regulations that don't necessarily apply from country to country. And second, we believe our modular, iterative approach will appeal not only to banks and fintechs, but to other industries, including energy, telco, healthcare, insurance, and others, as the world moves towards a more general open data economy. Financial grade indicates that it's secure enough for the most security-minded of customers. Those are the customers that manage our money and protect those assets. And so therefore should meet the security needs of other industries as well. Now I'm going to shift gears here a little bit, moving from customer identity to SaaS identity. Now, for customers creating SaaS applications, the outcome that you're really looking for is growth. That means onboarding of more and more customers. So growth is measured by the number of businesses. This is like a B2B scenario that you can onboard. Atlassian is a B2B company, as I mentioned earlier, and they need to be able to manage access to their SaaS products and onboard customers and end users at scale. Now, to keep up with goals, a B2B SaaS needs to be able to scale on their terms and not be held back by how long it takes to onboard a customer, by how complex it is to manage the identity for those customers. So that's why we're so focused on helping them doing this by reducing the onboarding and support costs for business customers through easy-to-use self-service tools. For these customers to grow, they really need to be able to, again, as I said, bring on hundreds or thousands of customers per year, keeping those acquisition costs down and those conversions high. also helping to enable B2B SaaS companies to deliver an improved customer experience that increases the stickiness of all SaaS applications, which just benefits tremendously from all of our customer identity work as it improves the end user experience. And lastly, supporting a number of identity integrations, which are needed by different businesses of all sizes, from small teams to very large enterprise customers. So what investments are we making in SaaS identity? So one is that we allow our B2B SaaS customers to model the login experience for each of their customers using a feature called organizations. For example, a company like Workday, right? They have many business customers that all need to sign into Workday for like HR purposes and things like that. But they each of those customers probably wants a branded experiences to instill some confidence in their employees that they're logging into the right system, or that they're logging into a system that applies to their work, right? Those have different branding requirements. They might talk to different IDPs, et cetera. So this way, as an employee of Auth0, I can see I'm logging into the Auth0 branded Workday app using factors that I'm familiar with. Now, for SaaS identity, quicker time to log in for users means being able to detect an organization just as soon as I know the email address of the person who's trying to log in, right? So that this way, it doesn't have to say, oh, you click this link and go over here, or you get redirected to some other site. No, we can do it all right from within the login form itself. And we often refer to this as home realm discovery. And so this can all be done directly from the prompt. And if I happen to be a member of multiple organizations, which is, it's really, there are only specific use cases that call for that. But if that is indeed the case, we can even bring all of those up and show the multiple options to the end user. Now, for our larger customers, again, we talk about enterprise scalability. We talk about bringing on hundreds or thousands of customers. Well, one of the things that they've said is, 1,000 customers, 2,000 customers, 5, it's not enough. We believe we can bring on 1 million organizations. And so we've heard our customers say this, and we say, okay, that's fine. So we're going to be expanding our capacity to support up to 2 million customers, which is like 2 million organizations within a single Auth0 tenant. And for those customers that have B2B2C configurations who also need to support a large number of end users, within those organizations, they'll each be able to support up to like 2 million users or members per organization. So this is how we're really investing in making sure that B2B SaaS companies can grow quickly with Auth0. Again, here's our 12-month summary of our plan for SaaS identity. Some notable call-outs are expanded login support for businesses that use Okta specifically. Hey, we're all one company. We want to make sure that that integration is super smooth and super tight, just so that this is very, very easy. We should always be able to talk to our own products and our own product families very, very well. We're going to be improving organization and member search and management tools for administrators, as well as providing business customers with access to identity management APIs to improve their own operational efficiency. So now I'm going to move to some of those technical underpinnings, those themes. First is secure identity. Now, we've talked a lot about the need for improved user experience and scale and the value of conversions. It is really important to note that this is never done at the expense of security. Secure identity is how organizations build trust with end users and reduce risk by limiting the impact of fraud and account abuse. With an ever-expanding attack surface, bad actors they're not just hacking in, they're just logging in, because they can achieve that with brute force attempts and stolen credentials. And that's why it's so important for us to help mitigate attacks on the sign-up and the login flows by providing several layers of attack protection. Some of our current feature offerings include credential stuffing, brute force protection, bot detection, and breached password detection. This is how our customers today reduce the risk of account takeover while building trust and loyalty. So what's coming next in the area of secure identities? So we're rolling out a new machine learning capability to expand the signals and analysis to help dramatically reduce account abuse. So this really focuses on our bot detection, because bot detection, as we innovate to make things safer, the bad actors innovate to try to find more and more exploits. So we know that having people just trying to figure out every type of attack vector is very, very difficult and expensive. So by leveraging machine learning, we can start to identify patterns and look at more and more signals more rapidly to help surface common patterns so that we can take action and help our customers take action. So our internal testing for our ML capabilities and working with beta customers, we've already seen significant improvements and actually some pretty cool stuff. So we're really excited about rolling this self-learning approach out in the coming year. And speaking of signals, we've had great success with our breached password detection and recent credential guard rollouts that help protect businesses and inform customers when they're using credentials that have been compromised and or sold on the dark web. So we're expanding our protection to include email and phone number reputation. So that is like, we'll determine if there's a history of fraudulent activity associated with a phone number or an email address. And also look at the age of these identifiers to determine if they're more or less likely to be recently generated as part of some sort of elaborate attack scheme. So all of this information will be used to, again, factored into risk scores that can be used for our capabilities like adaptive MFA, or to prevent access when those risk tolerances, those risk thresholds rather, exceed the prescribed tolerance. So let me kind of talk a little bit about key management. So we're adding support for customer managed signing key life cycles. Now, depending on your, any company's risk profile, you may never rotate keys, or maybe you want to rotate them periodically to vigilantly guard against malicious actors. Now, fortunately, signing key compromises is very rare, but this capability affords peace of mind for security-conscious companies who either want to rotate keys periodically or bring their own signing keys and exercise even greater level of control. So our key management capabilities, specifically the BYOK stuff, will be compatible with AWS KMS and Azure Key Vault. This is why we want to meet customers where they already are, understanding that many customers are already using these cloud-based KMSs, and we want to provide a quick and simple path forward. Now, session management. This adds additional security and control by enabling customers and end users to view existing session information where you're signed in and on which devices, and then manage those sessions. That is, to terminate a session or log the user out. For example, you might be signed into an application on your tablet, but then misplace the tablet. And if someone finds the tablet and is able to unlock it, well, they'll have access to your account. Session management controls allow users and administrators to take action and terminate or revoke an active session. This is extremely useful in several scenarios, including device compromise or device transfer. Maybe you're giving a device to another employee, or maybe you're handing down your device to your child or family member, whatever. You want to make sure that your account stays secure. Credentials compromise, credential sharing scenarios, etc. There's a lot of different reasons why you want to be able to manage sessions. So now, session management can be performed directly by the end user in your application. Like, I can go to my profile page and see where they're logged in. Or an admin user could log into Auth0 and see where, on behalf of a customer, and see where they're logged in. Or this can be done programmatically. For example, if you determine that there's, in response to a detected threat somewhere, you might want to just terminate a session. This will all empower you to secure those accounts more effectively. Now, adding to this will be including support for single sign-out. So that is when a person uses single sign-on to access multiple applications with a single sign-on. If they sign out or have their session terminated in one application, they can be signed out across all of the configured applications at once. This can be useful, for example, if you have multiple applications that you allow people to access. So like if I were to SSO into a media app, and they also have a separate app running a forum that I'm involved in, and I've also got my mobile app, and maybe there's some other commerce app where they sell things, right? So these are all separate applications running in the background under the same brand, and SSO allows me to go between them. But now if I decide I want to sign out of all of them, or if you need to respond to a security threat saying sign this person out of everything, single sign-out will facilitate that. So session management is a critical tool in account protection, and we're very excited to be delivering this capability in the coming year. Now, we've long had the ability for developers to consume Auth0 log streaming, to visualize security events in tools of their choice, like observability tools and SIEM tools like Splunk and Sumo Logic. Now, to expand the customer view into Auth0 security signals, we're bringing some of these signals into the Auth0 dashboard itself and enabling Auth0 admins to configure alerts and warnings when specific events occur to improve the visibility and response time for potential threats. Now, this doesn't replace those existing SIEM solutions. Auth0 is not a full observability platform. Like, will never be what Splunk is, will never be what some of these other tools are. However, this supports those customers who don't have those tools, but it also adds a complementary solution view that maybe in those tools, they would have to build custom dashboards and custom views to achieve this. So again, we're just trying to improve the security posture for all of our customers. And along those lines, we're also adding a set of security playbooks that help customers build automation and responses to data signals from an Auth0. So this is really about providing guidance and best practices in a playbook format to enable customers to better respond to events and better leverage features and capabilities that we offer. So here are the 12-month highlights for secure identities. Again, you can come back and view this as you'd like to at a later time. Now, extensibility and ecosystem. Now, this is one of our most powerful aspects of Auth0. We empower developers to alter and extend the authentication process, including profile enrichment, identity verification, and other custom logic. The use cases for every customer are highly specialized, and our extensibility framework enables developers to address like the 5%, the 2%, the 1% of the unusual use cases that aren't neatly covered by like standard approaches. So we have multiple extensibility points, including rules and hooks that are slowly being converged all into a single new paradigm we call actions. This simplifies the work and cognitive load for developers. It also includes a series of low-code and no-code options to achieve faster time to value. Now, we're continually, in addition to this, we offer an Auth0 marketplace that we're continually adding integrations to. And some of these integrations are built by us, some are built by our partners, but they're all hosted there, and you can turn them on with the click of a switch. Now, if there are integration partners that you would like to see us add, please let those partners know and let us know. Our marketplace integration team would love to hear from you. Love to hear from them as we continue to grow those options again to improve time to value and allow you to be able to deliver better customer experiences. So looking forward, we're extending our actions framework to allow for hosted prompts that facilitate requests for information during the authentication process, such as consent requests or ID verification. And what this capability does, it allows customers to build prompts hosted by Auth0. So we'll host the prompts, reducing the effort and maintenance required to enhance the authentication flow. We're also expanding actions to support asynchronous actions. So typically during the authentication process, if I'm in the middle of authentication and I want to verify somebody before I continue, I verify their ID, it comes back, and then I continue. Well, some actions take a long time. We can't guarantee that they're going to come back, or maybe they're never going to. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to put that in the way of completing the authentication or the user registration. So we call these asynchronous actions, things that can happen later. Profile enrichment is a really good example of this. So adding support for asynchronous actions so that you can continue to extend Auth0 without holding up the authentication process or the registration process. And finally, additional extensibility points. Well, they're just that. There are additional ways in which you can extend the authentication pipeline, looking at new triggers and looking at different ways to enrich data in flight. And of course, I mentioned the Auth0 marketplace before. We're also talking about making those partner experiences better. Today, people work with our partner team, and we get it set up, and it works out pretty well. But we ultimately want to move to a much more of a self-service model so that ISVs and independent developers can just create integrations and create custom actions that can be used by all of Auth0 in a much more streamlined and simplified manner. Again, here's the 12-month roadmap for our extensibility and ecosystem. Now, developer experience. This Auth0 has a great reputation with the developer community because we've long made significant investments in providing a world-class developer experience. As it states here, our goal really is to always simplify implementation and management and the operation of Auth0 for customers at any scale. So again, we want to make it faster and easier for developers to implement, reducing time to value, and ultimately, saving your resources, time, and effort. And again, making implementing identity easy. We want to make it super clean for administrative users and make sure that you can check all the boxes you need to for compliance and legal and whatnot. You've got the peace of mind as you scale that Auth0 is going to be there to scale with you. And of course, we want to make sure that we're providing insights to you that will actually help you be able to make decisions that are going to improve business outcomes. So what's coming next in this area? Auth0 teams, for some large customers, they have multiple Auth0 tenants. So when you sign up for Auth0, you get a tenant. And with a tenant, you can have multiple applications, et cetera, right? But some companies have multiple tenants. Some of them are like dev and staging tenants and a production tenant. Some of them have tenants because they're separate business units. And those business units might be isolated, but they all roll up into one company. Or maybe there are a couple of small companies that individually have Auth0 and they eventually get bought by larger companies. So now they're all brought in. Well, the question is what policies are being used to, like, who determines who has access to all those tenants and what are the policies for those tenants? This is where Teams comes in. Teams provides an enterprise with kind of a top level view. You can bring all the tenants into this Teams view and determine who has access to which tenant, what the security policies are for the tenant, et cetera, and configure SSO that can apply for all of the tenants, which is just, it's all about helping our customers scale. A revamped support experience. This is going to update and replace our existing support center. Ultimately, what we want to do here is we want to make it easier for our customers to provide feedback to us and to get updates from Auth0. So we've got a lot of cool enhancements that we'll be making here. Speaking of cool enhancements, whenever we roll out new features and capabilities in Auth0, we want to make sure that everyone is aware of them and that everybody knows how to use them. So we're going to be implementing onboarding and feature guides, kind of like feature tours. So when something new comes along, this actually helps you take advantage of that. We've actually heard from some of our customers, wow, I never knew you could do this with Auth0. And we thought, it's documented, it's there, but maybe we could provide a little bit more information, a little bit more help. So this is going to be our effort to do that. And of course, we're going to continue to improve our quick start and integration guides. Some of these are already in place. Like there are some of them that they're super slick. The format is great. Step-by-step guide just walks you through everything, really helps you learn how to leverage new capabilities and get up and started with identity as quickly as possible. SDKs and onboarding. So we've got dozens of libraries to help for developers to make integrating identity into your applications, your clients, much simpler. And we're going to continue that investment this year. New libraries for Go, for Flutter, React Native, and Unity are all on the horizon. And we're adding support for improved just deployment of tenants. So using the Auth0 CLI, as well as making sure that we've got full feature parity with our new Terraform provider as well. So that, again, for companies that need to leverage these capabilities, again, we want to make sure that these onboarding tools are going to help accelerate your time to value and get you up and running more quickly. Now, this last one over here, environmental control for private cloud. Today, for customers who take advantage of private cloud, which is basically, if you want to be in our broader infrastructure and maybe you need very high rate limits, for example, and so we want to put you into a special private cloud, or maybe you've got strong data residency concerns. So you can use private cloud for that. Now, when you have private cloud, of course, you manage Auth0, you manage all that stuff, but the environment of the private cloud is really managed by us. And so we've had some customers ask for some controls over that environment, that private cloud environment. So we're going to be adding in some customer controls for that. So for example, how frequently do backups occur, right? How frequently do updates occur in that environment? So we're going to be exposing some of those controls to our customers over the next year. Again, this really speaks well to customers who have very high rate limit needs or have data residency concerns or privacy concerns and things like that. This is going to be a great enhancement. Here are our 12-month roadmap and highlights for the developer experience. And here is a view. This is a 12-month of everything that I just said. A lot of text here, just a quick summary. You can kind of look at this later. If you see things on here, as I mentioned before, that you've got questions about, please reach out to us and ask us. We'd be happy to talk to you in greater detail about any of these upcoming features. If I can leave you with 3 takeaways, I just want to say that number one, we believe that Auth0 is the premier identity solution for SIAM. And number 2, we can scale to meet the needs of the world's largest customers. And number 3, I mean, this is like our reason for being, is to simplify the complexity of identity management and user experience and security so you don't have to. So you can really focus on making your business great and focus on your products and features and converting customers and ultimately being successful. Also, and speaking of success, if you're interested in reading a case study, we actually have a case study for Arduino posted on our website. You can see the link there at the bottom. It just talks about how they moved from, like, they were doing identity in-house and they moved to Auth0, and it just freed up 2 full-time engineers. Like, now they were able to, instead of working on identity and struggling to solve security issues and whatnot, now they're building products and features that are helping to grow revenue for the company. And switching to Auth0, because we have all these great tools and great flows, it helped increase their conversion by 3x. They were planning for 7% growth. They hit 20% growth using some of our streamlined login capabilities across web and mobile. So, and lastly, we talk about time to value a lot. I mean, they were able to solve identity for their new product, IoT Cloud, in 2.5 days. This actually helped them move their launch schedule up a full month. That can make a big difference in business. So yeah, check out the case study, the URL's there. And before I go, last thing I just wanted to say, I know there's a lot of developers on this call. We do have a vibrant community online. You can read our blog, you can check out our Twitter, that sort of thing. But we do have something we call the Auth0 Lab. And the Auth0 Lab is kind of like our R&D arm. We're looking at horizon opportunities like 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, emerging web technologies. Things like, we're looking at like Web3 and verifiable credentials and VR and metaverse, and like what kind of impacts these things are going to have on the identity landscape. What we want to do is we want to hear from you. We want to hear from developers. And not only hear from you, we often conduct experiments and proof of concepts, and we set up conversations. So we invite you to join our community. We've got a Discord. You can jump in. If you go to that link, you'll be able to just join our Discord community. Follow us on Twitter. We've got a LinkedIn showcase page. Looking forward to hearing from you, from all you developers who are curious to learn more about what we're thinking about in terms of the future of identity and future of technology. And we want to learn from you as well. So with that, I thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and please reach out to us if you have any additional questions. We are here to help you accelerate your business and secure your applications, secure your users, and identity is our purpose for being, and we want to take that burden off you so that you can focus on growing your business. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Randy. That was a fascinating session, and I certainly learned a lot from you today. But that's unfortunately all the time we have for your session. So, to all of you watching at home or in the office like I am, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning. Before I go, don't forget that you can get a free ticket to our upcoming product development conference right this second at pdc.techinasia.com. We'll be having product leads from GoTo Financial, Carousel, Stripe, Slack, Traveloka, and more, speaking alongside exciting content on Web3 product development. So go over to the PDC website, pdc.techinasia.com, right now and sign up before tickets sell out. Thank you once again, everyone. And of course, a big thank you to Randy and the Auth0 team for making this event possible. Have a great rest of the week. And on behalf of the Tech in Asia team, my name's Nat. I'll see you on June 8 and 9 at the Product Development Conference.